Ghost Fleet, a novel of the next World War. Negative book reviews. About the author. P. W. Singer is an expert on 21st-century warfare. His award-winning nonfiction books include the New York Times bestseller Wired for War. August Cole is a writer and analyst specializing in national security issues, and a former defense industry reporter for The Wall Street Journal. Product details hardcover, 416 pages. Publisher, Eamon Dolan, Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, 1st edition June 30, 2015. Language, English. ISBN 10-0544142845. ISBN 13-978-0544142848. Product dimensions, 6 by 1.4 by 9 inches. Shipping weight, 1.4 pounds. Reviewer number 1, Mr. E. The worst book I've read in years. I've heard people call this book plausible. That's the last way I'd describe it. The plot is razor thin. Character development is non-existent. Hell, Tom and Jerry display deeper, more nuanced, more human personalities than this book's characters. Most of the situations described make absolutely no sense, particularly with respect to the idiotic girl power insurgent. Who can kill a team of muscle-bound Marines with a single 1.5 ceramic knife, and go on a murder spree, while seemingly evading all forms of surveillance and detection? Long story short, this book treats its readers like idiots. Something which is hammered home with the endless footnotes that are completely unnecessary. Peter Watts does it right, these guys do it very wrong indeed. For a much better book on the same topic, see Twilight's Last Gleaming by John Michael Greer. Reviewer number 2, Andrew Desmond, a waste of time. In essence, the premise for Ghost Fleet is a war between China and the USA set at some time in the near future. However, this premise is the only thing of value. I am simply unable to recommend this book. Why? The plot is choppy and confusing, the characters are totally implausible and wooden, and the writing style leaves much to be desired. In short, this book disappointed me immensely. I had read only positive reviews. Perhaps I should have checked more thoroughly. Indeed, I only wish I had done so. Do not read. Better value to be had almost anywhere else. Reviewer number 3, avid reader. Utterly disappointing. I love Clancy's books, especially his early works, Harold Coyle's books, and Larry Bond's works. I was hoping that Ghost Fleet would be of such ilk. I was wrong. Singer and Cole fail to provide any global context or explanation of what's going on. All they provide is a series of combat vignettes from the point of view of a few ships and military bases. It appears that the authors were so enamored with introducing readers to leading-edge military tech, that they forget that an actual plot populated with interesting characters is essential to any good story. Imagine Hunt for Red October stripped of its plot and characters, and it would be almost as boring to read as Ghost Fleet. Reviewer number 4, John Thornton. Short and choppy 1–2 page segments which are not well connected to the other short and choppy segments. I had heard some good reviews about the book, Ghost Fleet, but I wish I had read the negative reviews more completely before I bought this book. The concept is very interesting. The potential for a great novel covering a war between the US and China is huge. But this book fails to deliver on that potential. For me, the main failure was that this novel consists of about 10 different stories all told in tiny little fragments. You get to read about one part of the war, say on board a ship in Pearl Harbor for 2 pages. Then the next section is about some meeting in China, again for about 2 pages. Then the next section is some scientists in a lab, again for something like 2 pages. then back to a different part of Hawaii for 2 or 3 pages, then off to a congressional meeting for a page, then to a Walmart shareholders meeting for a page and a half. And so on for nearly 400 pages. Yuck. I just could not follow the stories and wish the authors had stuck with one point of view and fully developed the characters and situations. It genuinely felt like reading a big collection of short stories all about some future war, but never really tied into each other very much. Positives, some interesting scenes, but told in choppy short segments. Negatives, very limited character development. Way too many info dumps. One does not need to hear that the Marine carried a Sig Sauer Model XYZ in .45 cal over and over. Poor flow of the story. Lots of women using sexual predatory tactics as a way to trap Chinese men. Seemed both sexist and racist. In my opinion, the only way to successfully read this book would be to jump from segment to similar segment, passing the ones that are not about that storyline and finish that thread all the way to the end. Then go back to the beginning and find another thread and hopscotch that story to the end. I doubt it would work, but otherwise the book is just boring and too convoluted. My rating is D. I cannot recommend this book. Reviewer number 5, Chuck SRQ. Not nearly as good as Clancy. I was so hoping that Ghost Fleet would suppress my appetite for Tom Clancy-like novels now that I was done with them. Unfortunately, Ghost Fleet just doesn't stack up. First off, it's way too short. There's close to no backstory on the events leading up to the war. Several parts were not written well and the book tries too hard to be politically correct. There's little explanation or background on the intelligence agencies, the White House, or the Pentagon in how they are reacting in the war. The strategy behind the final battle between China and the US is poorly thought out and is not explained well at all. Book seems more alike a movie script edited into a story. Reviewer number 6, Mustangs. Just say no. This book has been billed as equal to novels by the likes of Tom Clancy. Sadly, this book isn't remotely on that level of sophistication. The storytelling is weak at best and downright hokey at best. I honestly feel it wasn't worth the price I paid nor the time to read it. Only saving grace was that I didn't pay full cover price for it because it was used, otherwise I'd not be at all pleased. IMHO, just say no and look elsewhere for a quality read. Reviewer number 7, Been There. I think may even have somehow finished this, but if Amazon had not sent me an email suggesting I give a star rating, I would have erased the reading experience from my memory. Unless you're a die-hard fan of Boy's Own WWIII adventure writing, there's nothing of substance or interest here. It's a book that needn't have happened. Reviewer number 8, THL. Boring, unable to finish. Wish I had read the 1-star reviews on Amazon. The premise could have been interesting, but there is no real plot to get excited about. And the footnotes? Why? After about a third of the book I gave up. I wish the authors had put their research efforts into a nonfiction book about vulnerabilities in modern military technology. That could have been interesting. Reviewer number 9, Robert Sadowski. Not very realistic. The one thing that struck me almost immediately was that this simply could not happen. In fact, military investigators look into this on a regular basis. The book is a bit slow and I expected more from people who know what is going on. Reviewer number 10, Monson Marukatat. Struggling, I decided to read the book. How could one resist a techno-thriller, Tom Clancy-like WW3 fiction? The first few chapters did not disappoint. Chinese scientists plotting something near the Mariana Trench, Chinese satellites destroying U.S. satellites to cut off military communication. The background was well laid. But then it stops there. The following chapters jump between places: Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, San Francisco, where the Chinese are invading and the U.S. are on the poor defense. The description of the military gears was too long. Halfway through the book and there is no counterattack from the U.S. side yet. That's enough for me. I stopped there. Forget about finishing the rest. Read the description area below this video to get the order link of this book.